So hey guys, today is watering day. I'm over here, got plants everywhere, everywhere. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys a quick tip. Part of this quick tip is chopsticks, regular old chopsticks. And these are gonna be used if you do not have a nursery pot. But if you have a nursery pot, you can just squeeze. So let me show you. Inside this Pseudo-Rhipsalis, which is one of my absolute favorite plants. Let me let you see it. Ooh, yay. Ain't she cute? Anyway, inside this Pseudo-Rhipsalis is time for watering. And as with most of the plants, there are several different cuttings in here. In case you didn't know, that's how they do plants. Some are fuller, some are not. So as you can see, this red Maranta is super full. But when you go inside, there's cuttings, different small cuttings. So each one of these is a plant, but they just put a lot of them together, and that makes your plant nice and full and pretty. So same thing with the Pseudo-Rhipsalis. You got one here. I've got one right there, one right here. This one broke off and fell. I just stuck it back then and it's still growing. So anyway, these tend to, as they grow longer and heavier, they will pull away from the soil. And you can see how dry that is. That is some dry soil, ladies and gentlemen. So what happens is if I were to go to the sink right now and just put water on this, it's pulling away from the sides, as you can see. So any water I put in this is just going to go straight down and straight out of the pot because this has drainage holes. And so any water I put in there right off like that is just going to go straight through. So two things. I love chopsticks. I use them for my planting. I do use them to eat with, but most of the time, these are used in my sunroom. So you can take these chopsticks. Let's see. Let's see if I can break these with one hand. Oh, anyway. So I got one chopstick here. You can take these chopsticks and very gently in between just make little holes like a worm would, you know, just wiggle it down in there like a worm would. Not wormwood, like a worm would dig. You get me. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. So you can just poke that in there. That's one way. And then when you water it, the water is going into these holes and it kind of breaks up the soil. Now, I love keeping my plants in nursery pots. What do I mean by nursery pots? These nice black pots, or sometimes they come in green or terracotta. It's not a decorative pot. So, for example, that's a decorative pot. This is a decorative pot. So I like to keep my plants, even though this is in a decorative pot, but as you see, it's right in my nursery pot because I can take this in and out and it's not as heavy and all of that good stuff. So back to my Pseudo-Rhipsalis. So because I have it in this nursery pot, this is what I do. I just take this because the nursery pot is a little pliable. Let me move this so you can see. Okay, and I'm just gonna squeeze and squeeze. And if you can see as I'm squeezing, it's loosening up that soil. And see how it's on the edge? So I want to loosen it up because I need everything to get water in there. You know what I mean? I don't need it just leaking out, especially if I'm going to feed it or put any kind of nutrients in the water, which I am. So I just squeeze this pot until I can get that soil loosened up. You see the difference is not so tight. So now water can flow through there. You know what I mean? So that's why I like having these nursery pots because they're super pliable. You see that? I can squeeze that and move that soil around so I can loosen up that soil. Because at the end of the day, you got to get the water to the plant. So if you were to water it like this now, when it was before, when I didn't loosen up the soil, that water is going to sit on top and then it'll just run off the sides and your plant never would have gotten the water. So there's your quick tip for today. Was it quick? 4:24. Under 5 minutes. Because y'all know I'm long-winded. I just try to explain everything. Hey, you know what it is. So quick tip is when your plant is really dry and that soil is pulling away from the sides, you either can use your chopstick, and of course you're not going to use this again, right? And sometimes if it's a large plant like a fiddle or something, I'll just leave the chopstick in there. And just be careful that you don't get the roots. And that way your plant can get all the water you planned. All right, guys. Later.